1976, a year so rich in sound. One video just wasn't enough. It wasn't only loud guitars or flashing lights. It was when rock grew deeper, sharper, and filled with emotion. From Los Angeles bars to London nights, the music spoke to a generation hungry for truth and escape. Some songs became anthems, others became legends. In part 1, we revisited 5 unforgettable tracks that defined the year. Now, it's time to flip the record and relive the final 5 songs that carried 1976 into eternity.
Thought I heard them say, "Welcome to the Hotel California."
Number 5, Dream On by Aerosmith.
Half my life's in books, written pages.
Before Aerosmith became the swaggering kings of American rock, they were just another hungry band out of Boston, trying to find their voice. And with Dream On, they found it. Though first released in 1973, it was 1976 that made it a legend, when the song was reissued and finally soared up the charts. Built on a delicate piano line and Steven Tyler's aching vocal, Dream On carried a kind of timeless wisdom. It wasn't loud or reckless, it was reflective, almost spiritual. Tyler wrote it when he was barely 20, yet it sounded like it came from a man who had already lived 100 lives.
Sing for the year, sing for the laughter, sing for the tear.
By the time his voice hit that final scream, Aerosmith had transformed from underdogs into icons. The song became their anthem, a reminder that ambition and heartbreak often walk hand in hand. Decades later, Dream On still cuts through the noise, whispering the same truth it did in 1976. Keep believing, even when the dream feels far away. Number 4, Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas.
Carry on, wayward son. There'll be peace when you walk.
Few songs captured the spirit of the 70s quite like this one. Kansas had been chasing their big break for years, playing theaters, building loyal fans in the Midwest, when Carry On Wayward Son finally took them to the national stage. Released in late 1976, it was both philosophical and powerful, a perfect bridge between prog complexity and pure hard rock. Written by guitarist Kerry Livgren during a period of soul-searching, the song carried a message of perseverance and self-discovery. It wasn't just about faith or doubt, it was about finding purpose in the chaos. The band's tight musicianship made every shift in rhythm feel effortless, every harmony feel monumental.
On the stormy sea of moving emotion, tossed about.
What made it timeless was its balance, spiritual weight delivered with arena-sized punch. It was a song you can analyze or just blast through the speakers and feel. Decades later, Carry On Wayward Son still feels like a journey, one that begins in confusion and ends in triumph.
Once I rose above the noise and confusion.
Number 3, More Than a Feeling by Boston. When Boston released their debut album in 1976, no one expected it to rewrite the sound of rock radio. But More Than a Feeling did exactly that. A song so perfectly crafted, it felt almost scientific. Written and recorded almost entirely by Tom Scholz in his basement studio, it blended melody, precision, and emotion in a way that few songs ever had. Every note was intentional. Every chord shimmered with clarity. Scholz, an MIT-trained engineer, spent years layering guitar harmonies until they sounded like a symphony of light. Yet, beneath all that technical mastery was something deeply human: nostalgia, longing, and the quiet ache of remembering what once was. When the chorus hit, it was like liftoff. The song captured that feeling of hearing an old tune and being pulled back to another time. another version of yourself. It was clean, powerful, and timeless. More Than a Feeling didn't just launch Boston into stardom. It became a blueprint for what rock could be when heart and perfection met in the same breath. Number 2. Hotel California by Eagles.
Thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California.
There are songs that become legends, and then there's Hotel California. Released in December 1976, it was more than a single. It was an experience. The Eagles built a world inside it, mysterious, seductive, and slightly haunted. A mirror held up to the glittering, restless soul of 1970s America. Recorded at Criteria Studios in Miami and mixed in Los Angeles, the track was assembled piece by piece, every detail tuned for atmosphere. Don Felder and Joe Walsh crafted twin guitar solos that danced between beauty and menace, weaving a finale so iconic it's studied note for note to this day.
Warm smell of colitas rising up through the air.
Its lyrics painted a dream you couldn't quite escape, the endless pursuit of pleasure, fame, and freedom that turns into a gilded cage. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave, Don Henley sang. It was both a warning and a masterpiece, a timeless reflection of an era losing its innocence. Decades later, Hotel California still feels less like a song and more like a place, one we visit again and again, even though we know the way out is just an illusion.
There she stood in the doorway, heard the mission bell.
Number 1. Rhiannon by Fleetwood Mac. If 1976 had a voice, it might sound like Stevie Nicks. Rhiannon wasn't just a song, it was a spell. With its shimmering guitars, pounding piano, and that unmistakable voice, Fleetwood Mac created something both mystical and magnetic. It felt ancient and modern all at once, a dream wrapped in silk and thunder. Nicks wrote the song after reading a story about a Welsh witch, a woman who lived between worlds, neither light nor dark. That mythic spirit flowed through every word she sang. On stage, Stevie didn't just perform Rhiannon, she became her, swirling under dim lights with arms outstretched like wings. By the spring of 1976, the song had climbed the charts and turned Fleetwood Mac into one of the biggest bands in the world. But beyond the fame, Rhiannon captured something deeper, the idea that mystery could be power and vulnerability could be strength. Nearly 50 years later, her voice still drifts through the air like a ghost from another world, forever whispering the name Rhiannon.
Half my life's in books. Carry on our wayward son. Welcome to the Hotel California.
And there you have it, 10 rock songs from 1976 we'll never forget. From Boz Scaggs' smooth groove to Fleetwood Mac's mystical spell, each one captured a different heartbeat of the same unforgettable year. 1976 wasn't just a chapter in rock history, it was a turning point, a time when rebellion met reflection, when sound met soul, and when every note carried the weight of a generation growing up through music. Nearly 50 years later, those riffs still roar, those voices still rise, and those memories still spin like a needle on warm vinyl. Because rock never really dies, it just waits for someone to turn the record again. Which of these songs takes you back the most? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more timeless trips through music history.